Who am I? Everyone is asking this question at some point in their lives. But based on what happened to me, this question took on a particular strength. I saw three levels of questioning. First, as an individual, am I just this body, as the medical authorities say? In the interpretation of numbers from 1 to 10 given by most hypothetical civilization, it is said that man is two in one. That is to say, body and spirit, or consciousness. The body would therefore have a share of autonomy independent of our will, of our consciousness. The answer is simply to observe the number of functions that occur without control or almost. Heartbeats, blood circulation, and exchanges with cells, their own life, fighting disease, growth, digestion, breathing, etc. Even in our outward appearance. When we speak, we make gestures with our hands, arms, the whole body, without our controlling them, unless you pay attention and make an effort. I noticed in the inspiration phenomenon that one phase takes place mostly in the evening, in the head, and another takes place the next day by the hand. Often my hand has done something other than what my head had intended, and it was far from always better. As for dreams, some say they remember all their own. They go so far as to write them down. But in fact, they usually only remember one dream a night. However, sleep research has shown that a night is not continuous, but consists of 4 or 5 different phases of sleep. In each one, as the experiences have shown, we dream without any memory. Then, who is dreaming and why? I believe that it is the machine, the body, the ego, in its physical and mental dimension, independent of our consciousness, which dreams for itself. Generally, whatever one said, there is no particular meaning concerning us, except on rare occasions when internal messages can pass to symbolically inform our consciousness about our physical or moral state. External messages, such as premonition. See the passenger who were saved from the sinking of the Titanic by refusing to board following such a dream. And messages from higher spheres, like my first vision of colored light lines. If we analyze well what we remember about dreams, we can see that if everything goes well, even ideally at the beginning, usually at the end it gets spoiled. Either you get lost, or you're scared, or you're ridiculed. For example, you lost all your clothes in the middle of a crowd, etc. And inner research can confirm that our soul or consciousness is independent of the body it has come inhabit, and that its role, in addition to being a vehicle and object of extraordinary pleasures, is to contribute to our suffering in this world, in this game. If we do not make great efforts on our automatic attitude, we are called to order by our entourage. Dominate yourself, calm yourself, control yourself. It is the body that must be dominated, even in its mental structure. As the song says, my worst enemy is in the mirror. The second question, as an artist. After my first matching exposition in São Paulo, Brazil, there has never been another with such success. I have been through tough times financially. Then, with the visual music paintings that I called cosmic show painting at the beginning, I found a beginning of glory. With my commitment to the search for the door of light, door of paradise, all my contacts have disappeared over time. The financial difficulties came back, even if I never felt poor, especially with what I experienced every evening in the Extasium. At the end of my quest, all my efforts to make her known remained in vain. It's clear that my old friends think I'm a failed artist. Some of them did not hesitate to make me feel it. So, am I a cursed artist? Do I have bad luck? Bad luck? Bad luck? Do people not finally like what I show them and especially tell them, even in a watered down way? After hundreds of visitors, over 800, of whom no one has reappeared, can I say I have negative charisma? Yet some say that they greatly appreciate my works and are surprised that I have not met the success I deserved. Why? I have an explanation that supports me. So far, we have tried to make my creations known in small parts: light boards, the visual music paintings, the sound system, the acoustics of the room, the vocal group, but already, long before, we had understood that we had to make the whole thing known simultaneously, and above all, explain the reason for this research, the spiritual dimension and its implication. It was absolutely necessary to write this story. I often had the feeling that the boss submitted this of that person, whom he knew that nothing would come out of, to make me wait, like a carrot pushing a donkey forward, because it was plain from the start that his research would be very long. In my human shell, with its uncertainties and its questions, I would not have borne the very idea of this duration if I had known in advance. Those who disappeared from my horizon were removed so that I could concentrate fully on this quest. They say, help yourself, heaven will help you. I tried every opportunity that seemed to open up. No result. Wrote many letters. No answer. It kept me busy and passed the time. But in fact, everything I really needed fell from the sky. Third question: am I a messenger from heaven? The ability to receive and transmit the energy, or a spirit, the quantity of events, visions, things, coincidences, deep thoughts, visceral knowledge of symbolism, without having studied them, which happened to me, makes it logically think. But I've never heard a voice say that to me. Is this notion of the great cosmic video game right? In the Bible, Genesis, it is written, grow and multiply. From the start, the end was plain. It is this multiplication that generates tensions, pollutions, conflict, desertification due to man. For a long time, it was enough to part of the tribe to leave for new territories to start from scratch. But now, with more than 7 billion people, soon be 9, and later how many? 12, 20, 30, 50? Long before, the Earth will no longer be livable. Going to another planet? The Moon and Mars are heaps of rocks. It is only the scientific officials to make believe still that one can settle there. Of course, this is not unrelated to the fact that they need this huge budget to keep playing with their technological gadgets and to ensure their incomes and their career plans. In any case, the facility would be under restricted laboratory conditions and reserved for a very small minority of very wealthy people. No other planet fulfills the conditions of life in the solar system. As for the exoplanets, admitting that one discovers of them livable, the distance that separates us from them, even the closest one, is so huge that they will remain inaccessible. No, it is not possible to leave Earth. Then there would only be this hopeless material world faced with the rise of overpopulations, the accelerated disappearance of living species, pollution of all kinds, the scarcity of fossil energies, global warming, the hole in the ozone layer, etc., especially for the vastness of poor people, new poor, future poor. But wealthy people will not be spared. They can only delay the deadline a tiny bit. If it is a game, the outlook is very different. As for games or parties, it is expected a grandiose hand, announced everywhere. So there will be a gigantic final fireworks display. And instead of joining the kingdom of the dead, the fifth dimension, we'll all go home, the tenth, or rather the first, once we get there. We'll then rediscover our true appearance of pure bubble of consciousness, of light, of love, of divine particle. Let's not be afraid. On the contrary, twice I had the vision of Jesus. Each time I emerged into his image and I felt that I was him. In the book of Revelation, Jesus said through the angel, 3.11, my return is near, and the new name I am wearing, which also means another appearance, another language. Coincidence? My middle name comes from my paternal grandmother, whom I never knew, Gabriel. Like the archangel who announced the miraculous birth to Mary, and especially in the form of Jibril, who communicated the Quran to Muhammad. Another coincidence? My maternal grandmother's last name, which I knew, was Maut. This means sheep in Britain and refers to the mystical lamb. According to the Gospel of John, Jesus also said, when the defender whom I would send to you from the Father comes, he will testify in my favor. When he comes, the Spirit of truth, he will lead you into the whole truth. For what he shall say shall not come of himself, but what he shall hear shall he say. And what shall come shall he will let you know. He will glorify me, for he will receive that which comes from me, to make it known to you. Am I this one? Written in Paris and completely on September 9th, 2008.